But as the development of the endolip, I think the selection of the case maybe the very big issue when the endolip is developed. So the next speaker is Sun Dong Sung. He is graduated from KD University Medical College, and he is an orthopedic surgeon, and now he is the owner of the Sun's orthopedic clinic in Yeongju-dong. And I know that he is the member of the Korean Shoulder and Elbow Society and Arthroscopic Society. So now he is familiar with UV surgery. He's also the international member of AOS, Spine and Ultrasound Pen Association, COSES, and the board member of ICES AP 2023. So today he want to give me the talk about the rotational insertion of the large cage through a transformational space with UV. Personally, I'm very looking forward to listen to their speech. Let's welcome.
Thank you very much for introducing me, and it's a great honor to present my subject here. And I realize, I think my approach, I wondering my approach, which is my approach, my name. I cannot decide which name is correct for my approach, but I realize when I hear the presenting Dr. Professor Wang and Professor Lim, and I think my approach is sacrificing facet posterolateral approach. I will revise my approach name. Thank you very much, Professor. As you know, there are many approaches to the spine, and especially interbody. And ALIF and lateral interbody is very good, good approach because we can put the large cage and barrel cage, and we can make a sound structure interbody fusion. But the disadvantage, we met a lot of complications related to the vascular, ureter, plexus injury like that, sometimes intestinal injury. And we tried to find the safe the first approach, and the Dr. Ong started the extreme transforaminal lateral interbody fusion. But as I performed the operation as many as operations, I think I complete the facet is broken or facet. The sacrificing facet is we can make more space to put the large cages through the end. I realized in this seminar, and my approach is sacrificing facet posterolateral approach. My patient and 58 cases, I started in 2020 March, and average age, my patient is very old, over 60, 70. Nowadays, I encountered 80, 90 old patients. And indication is all of the indication, and spondylolisthesis, foraminal stenosis, sometimes several severe central stenosis with foraminal stenosis junctional problem. We can also perform these procedures in junctional problem. My patient's level is one level is 42 cases, multi-level is 12 cases, junctional problem and 4 cases. I studied my patients, the clinical evaluation, past back, past leg, and ODI, pre-OP, and post-OP. And radiologic analysis to know how to recover the local lordosis and total local lumbar lordosis. Local disc 8, local disc angulation, total lumbar lordosis, we checked pre-operatively and post-operatively. And I will discuss my operation techniques in some detail. And this is my operation arthroscopic view. And this is caudal, this is cranial, this is L5 superior facet. And first, we would like to take a lot of bone, local bone, and I like to use the osteotome because we can get a very sound bone to put the cage. And after remove the facet, we can approach the disc space like this one. And we can use all of instruments when you use in open instruments. And the view is very clear, and it's like the open view, even though we use the biportal endoscopy. And this is the disc space, and we prepare disc space to cage, and we need to rotate the cage in the disc space, and we need more preparation of the disc materials, ipsilateral, anterior wall, and contralateral in other area. And we put the trials where we adjust the space and we adjust the load how to rotate our cage, even though we put the big cage obliquely, and after that, and we can start to rotate the big cage, first oblique line to anterior transverse line, because I like to put my cage in anterior transverse line because it makes more lordosis, local lordosis. And this is final view, and transverse anterior located my cage. And this is the CM view, and we can rotate like this one. First, obliquely line, but then we pushing the cage posteriorly, and we can make my cages in anteriorly transverse line beautifully to make local lordosis. There is some cautious to put the cage anteriorly and rotate it, and I will show my mistake. And as a result, this marker is parallel, and in that case, we realize that my cage is located anteriorly transversely. As you know, I said that we need more preparation of the disc material, ipsilateral anterior and contralateral. Because there is a remained disc material in the anteriorly, we have some difficulty to rotate my cage because the remained disc material block to rotate my cage. Location of lemur, and we when I put the lemur in the first time and the CM view, and I estimate my cage length and my cage direction, and lateral CM view, and I have to put my lemur to the anterior 1/3 of the disc space. And CM AP view, and I have to my first lemur to the medial borderline of the contralateral pedicle. If we put the far from the medial borderline, it's a very straight dip, and if the first lemur is close to the medial borderline of the pedicle and it located far lateral. And consideration of cage size, and as Dr. Lee said about, and I like big cage and large cage, wide cage, but height is somewhat different. I started big high height cages in the first time, but there are a lot of sinking and breakage of end plate. I choose appropriate size of the cage. Nowadays, the most size I used in my fusion is 11 millimeter height, and also I use 70 millimeter wide, and the length is 45 millimeter. And usually the average lordosis angle is 60 degrees. Location of trial. Location trial is so important because at final we have to push my cage to this trial position. As you know, I said the cage is reached the anterior 1/3 of the disc space in lateral view, in AP view, and the borderline, medial borderline of the pedicle. And we estimate your cage location through this trials and location of cage, and we put the same directions. We put the rear cage, and I would like to position this cage in anteriorly transversely. Okay. And I saw this one, yeah, okay. And we consider we push it, the power to rotate the cage, and we think about the lateral force, and this is vector. This is lateral force, this is anterior force. If lateral force is very high and your cage is going outside of the lateral border of the end plate, and this direction is appropriate. I use the two portal. One portal is through the my cage, and the other portal, some medial portal, make I medial portal, I backward force through that portal, then make a good vector force anteriorly, not laterally. If I misunderstand my force to lateral, and like this one, the cage is outside going to lateral force, and luckily I have no problem in this patient. I pull out this cage, I pull in this cage in good side, good position. And finally, we take this picture at AP and lateral. My case is and the L5 of primary stenosis, and in this case it is very easy to perform, and one level fusion. Usually in my cases it takes 1 hour 30 minutes. And two levels, 3, 4, 5. He is 65 years old, spondylolisthesis and foraminal stenosis. And I perform the foraminal decompression. Usually I approach the symptomatic side, and if he have a left main symptom, and I approach the left side. And this is the multiple foraminal stenosis. She is very painful. She cannot work, and spondylolisthesis, foraminal stenosis. And it is possible from L1, S1, but it takes a long time, and I perform in separate days. First day, I put the cage or the level, and after that, and she have a brace for 1 week, and she working, and if there is some remained symptom, and we check the MRI again, and after that, and the second operation, we perform the remained stenotic areas, I decompression, and I put the screw. And I recommend the stage 2 operation in long level because it takes a long time. My results, and clinical evaluation is good, and pass back and leg is improved, and ODI improved also. And radiologic evaluation is very interesting, and local height is increased statistically, and local lordosis is increased statistically, but total lumbar lordosis is not different statistically. And complication is very some special in these procedures. Lateral protrusion, actually in the first, in early cases, I put my case in correct position, in anterior position, and if I oblique, I stop my operation because I have a difficulty. And in the cases, the cage is derotated, and the irritation of the nerve, and I can revise. And adjust foraminal stenosis one case. And I used to operate a lot and lumbar interbody fusion, open lumbar interbody fusion. In the cases, indirect decompression is very good. And even though the central stenosis is very small, and usually I succeeded to indirect decompression in direct lumbar interbody fusion. But my the endoscopic method is somewhat different because the cage is smaller than the open lumbar interbody fusion. I think it is somewhat limitation of indirect decompression with endoscopic fusion because this case is not reaching the cortical border like the open interbody fusion. I would like to perform all decompression, direct decompression and fusion. and end plate breakage. And for 70 or 80-year-old woman with osteoporotic patient, even though I slowly and softly rotate the lemur, and it's easy to end plate breakage. And I encountered the end plate breakage in recently 2 cases. I don't notice, even though I limped my end plate, but end plate easily broken. I realized that I put my endoscope, I saw the end plate is broken away. And discussion. Uniportal endoscopy, compared to uniportal endoscopy, is biportal endoscopy is both working and is very easy. And L5 vessel is a good procedure, and we can put a large cage and maybe more than 2 times, and the operation time is speedy. And this, my procedure is a low invasive procedure. Unlike Dr. Harris Kim or Dr. Wang, is excellent surgeon in the uniportal surgery. Only they can perform fusion by uniportal. But as like a common surgeon, and it's very difficult to uniportal fusion. And I think recommend in the biportal fusion is more easy to understand and to learn and to operate. Compared to open dilip and olip, the advantage of biportal fusion is safe. And no vascular injury, no abdominal injury, no ureter, no intestine. But I worried about the fusion is completely like that, or the low dosage correction is good like that, and I wonder. And I followed my patients, and I would like to prove this one. In conclusion, biportal fusion is a good procedure, endoscopic fusion. And further development is needed, and careful watching fusion rate and correction of lordosis. And when you perform operation, be careful. Indirect decompensation is not enough, like the open rheumatoid valve fusion and end plate, especially when the patients are old enough with osteoporosis, especially female, and can be easily broken by only living. Facet.
Thank you for speaker. They control their speaking time very well. So maybe we have some more question and discussion. So, any question for the speaker? Anyone? Yes, please.
Dr. Song, I enjoy your lecture very much. As a matter, I also try to use this kind of rotation. But I find there are some difficulty because this height should not be too high. Maybe something should be lower so that you can make rotation. Also, the second part is you should not have a good quality bone because good forward is hard for you to not do rotation.
Yeah.
And also, the problem is this kind of, do you have a special kind of impactor so that you could make a kind of rotation?
Thank you for your question. And I have no special instrument. And at the first time and at early stage, I tried to big, large, high cage like Dr. Lee, but I have some failure and it's very difficult to rotate. In the case is first, shortening the height. If the reading is the 11 milli, but it is not enough to rotate, I choose the 9 milli, one step down. And after that, we worry about the length. Length is very important. When I perform before operation, I examine MRI, and I check the distance from end plate to end plate. If the someone is very small, and in the cases, I downsize of the length. And if I choose the 45 millimeter length, and if the cage is not rotated, I choose the 40 millimeter, and it can be easily rotated. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Also, you mentioned you emphasize the impaction is over the anterior side, okay, not on the upright position. Yeah. Does that mean you need to reset all of the IAP so that you can have anterior direction?
Media?
Media.
When I started this procedures, I learned from the Professor Ong, and he started the extreme and extreme lateral, like Kenbin approach. But I realized the Kenbin approach is somewhat difficult because there are many bleeding and anatomy is not familiar to me, and I changed my approach is medial side, interlaminar. I started the interlaminar space, and it's very easy to identify the anatomical areas, and there is no bleeding in that areas. And in case I first interlaminar and lateral recess, and after that I remove the superior facet, inferior facet, and it's easy. And in that case, it is two media, and I make another quarter slight lateral side. It is very easy to put the screw. Yeah. And after that, and I pushing my cage to rotate. I apply to my impact in the medial side. Yeah. Thank you very much.
I have some question for Dr. Paul. Yes, sorry, I'm the moderator, so I have extra question for me. My question is not for the endoscope. I know you have good endoscope surgeon, and I'm listening for your some different interpretation for in some cases. I mean the uniframe and the biframe. So, how about the indication for you to put the uniframe and the biframe? And the result is the same? Thank you.
This is a very good question. A lot of people ask me, why do you use the uniframe? As mentioned, I compared the two groups. The uniframe, the information have a better ODS score in the 3 months level, because most of, as you could see my serial, most cases was around 70. I had cases with 80 or 90 years old come here for fusion purpose. So if you just shorten the incision with just 2 incisions and 4 incisions, that's make a big difference for post-operative care. And a lot of my patients, when they have only had uniframe, and then from my follow-up, most of those patients were old age, they have not too much activity. They were, as a matter of fact, quite satisfied with their uniframe precision. I only have 1 cases of cage retroportion, only 1 cases, and rest is all get a good uniform fusion. So I think I always contemplate what makes this uniframe in my approach, because I was thinking maybe the cage is big enough. If you have a sufficient effacement, so you could get a more stable acting point of not doing too much instrumentation for that. So that's my thinking. And as you concerned about the old age, most of the patients, they were almost cannot tolerate their resistance. I know that they come here to get the surgery late, on 70 to 80. I think do not put too many incision or instrumentation for this patient might be beneficial for them.
Yes, please, Dr. Yo.
Hello, I'm Dr. from Taiwan. I have a question for Dr. Lee. And we all know the footprint, the size of the footprint is the key factor of the fusion. How do you think, what's your opinion of the one big cage or